Long ago, in a quiet village, there lived an elderly woman known for her kindness, wisdom, and ever-present smile. The villagers held her dear and frequently visited her, some for advice, others just to share their troubles. One day, a young man from the village asked her, "Why are you always cheerful? No matter what goes on, you never seem down. Don't you ever feel sad when things go wrong?" The old woman gave a gentle smile. She replied, "My dear, life has its highs and lows. Some days bring joy, others bring sorrow. But I've discovered that true happiness comes from within, not from the world around me." The young man was puzzled. "What do you mean? How can someone be happy when bad things happen?" he asked. The woman began to tell him a story from her past, hoping it would help him understand her outlook on life. "When I was younger, I had a family, a husband and children. We weren't wealthy, but we were content. One day, my husband fell ill and we couldn't afford the medicine he needed. We did all we could, but he eventually passed away. It was the most painful moment of my life. I wept endlessly and thought I'd never find joy again." The young man listened closely as she opened her heart and continued her story. "After a while, I realized that constant grief wouldn't bring him back. My children still needed me, and I had to find a path to joy again. I began to see life differently. I came to understand that every life includes both happiness and hardship, but I made a choice not to let the hard times take away my joy." The young man stared at her in awe. "But how did you manage that?" he asked, hoping for a clear answer. She smiled and said, "Each morning I tell myself, today's a fresh start, and I will find something to smile about. Some days are more difficult than others," she said, "but I always manage to find something, even something small. Maybe the sun is shining, or a flower is blooming, or I run into a friend. There's always something to appreciate." The young man pondered her words and asked more, "But what if something truly terrible happens? How do you stay positive then?" "It isn't easy," she admitted, "but I remind myself that everything is temporary. Even the darkest times won't last forever. When hardships come, I tell myself, this too shall pass. I choose to focus on the blessings I still have, my health, my friends, or even just being alive." Her voice was calm and steady as she spoke. "Happiness is a decision. You can focus on what's wrong and feel sorrow, or you can seek out what's good and feel joy. It's not always simple, but it is possible." The young man thanked her for her wisdom and left, determined to try her approach. From that day forward, he made an effort to notice the positives in every situation, just like the old woman had taught him. Slowly, he changed. Even when misfortune struck, he kept a hopeful heart and looked for happiness in the little things. The old woman's story spread throughout the village, and more people began to realize that happiness isn't tied to possessions or events, but to perspective. They learned to find joy in all circumstances, just as the wise woman had. And so the village became a brighter, more joyful place, thanks to the lessons of the kind elder who showed them the true meaning of happiness. True joy is a choice that lives inside us. No matter how tough life becomes, we can find light in small blessings and choose to focus on the good. Hardships will pass, but a hopeful heart helps us stay strong and fulfilled. That is the secret of the old woman, and now the village knew it too.